Hey, what's going on? Welcome to G-Ball Vision. Today, I have a new knife here to share with you coming in from Kizer. Now, while I get this opened up, let me know down in the comments what your carry is. This is actually a special release, and I'm pretty stoked about this one. We have a special edition drop bear sticker there. Really cool. And then we have our drawstring pouch. We have some extra hardware in there. And inside our drawstring pouch is actually going to be a knife, and this is going to be the Feweed series with a Star Wars pattern. Now, this is the bounty hunter version, and if you couldn't tell with the front of the box there, we got the Star Wars theme there, and there's actually a couple different variations of this knife. There's at least 3 that I remember seeing. The bounty hunter, there is one of Darth Vader, and there is one for the Stormtroopers. That is the setup, I believe. These are available. I'll have them linked down below in the description. If you are a Star Wars fanatic, then this may be right up your alley. Now, if you're not familiar with the Feweed series, it has a mid-size length to it, which we'll touch on here in a moment. And it's got a very, I'd say a pretty versatile blade shape here. We kind of have like a harpoon clip point almost, but it maintains a nice low tip there, almost in relation, direct relation to the center of the pivot there. So you'll still be able to use that tip. I have experience with the Feweed, and it is an impressive little design. This is from a young designer as well, from what I remember. We're going to be looking at LMAX with the entire Star Wars series, which I am 100% okay with. I love LMAX, and it's a great all-around user steel. We have a black wash coating on here, which is only going to make the LMAX even tougher. We have these triangular studs, which actually work very, very well. Surprisingly good, and they're very comfortable. You just have a much larger edge to get up underneath, and they just work really well. They're not like thumb discs where, you know, sometimes thumb discs work good, sometimes they're questionable. These are not questionable. These are going to work well and be comfortable. Reverse flick, no problem. It also has a front flipper here, and we have some nice jimping there. Good grippy jimping. That is a well done front flipper. Now to this handle. This is actually all titanium, and it actually has a Cerakote done. So that's how they're able to get the green and the yellow and the maroon on titanium. It's actually a Cerakote and not some sort of, you know, DLC or PVD type process. This is actually Cerakoted on there, and Cerakote is a tough coating. So, you know, as long as you ain't grabbing this by the handle and scraping it up against, you know, the end of a screw, you know, I think you're going to be in good shape just under normal wear and tear. Now, time will tell us, because I am going to carry the snot out of this bad boy right here. I love the maroon touch with the clip, backspacer, and the triangular studs. I think it gives the knife quite a bit of character, even on top of the green and yellow. Now, what kind of size are we looking at here? We're just shy of 3 inches of cutting edge, 2 15/16 and 3 1/8 of total blade, coming down there at 7 1/8 overall. And to put that in better perspective for you, I have some comparison knives here. We have the Kizer Drop Bear up top. We have the Kizer Militol on the bottom, and here you can see it's going to be much more in line with that drop bear size. And 2 more for you. We have the Benchmade Bug Out up top, and we have the Vastid Raccoon on the bottom. And here again, it's going to be much more in line with something like the Bug Out and the Drop Bear. And we'll take a look at this pocket clip here and see what it looks like in the pocket and check the retention. And you'll see this actually carries a little deeper than standard milled clips do, because a standard milled clip typically has 2 torque screws and you have a little bit more poking out. I find this to be very good as far as how much sticks out and how this is going to look in the pocket. It's going to look awesome in the pocket. The clip design is excellent. It comes down to a nice little point here. It's the same exact clip on the original Feweed. Comes down to a nice point. Works very good in and out of the pocket. There's plenty of room in there because you have the clip recessed. You know, the clip is actually recessed into the scales here, and you just have a bunch of room underneath that clip. And sadly, this is going to be a right-hand carry only. We won't have the option for lefty carry on this particular model. And I don't think I touched on it, but access to the lock bar is fantastic. You have this nice big cutout chamfer on the show side, and then a nice deep chamfer internally there on the lock bar. And that just, it works really, really well. The only thing that would make that any better is if there was some fine jimping, because they even recess and knock out internally on the show side, which gives you even more room to get in there and disengage this thing. And it's got a nice strong detent for those studs and front flipper. Typical Kizer action on this guy here. Now we'll go ahead and we'll get a weight check on this feller here. We like to guess the weight. Even if we're way off, we still guess and we put it in there. If you want to play along, you can put your guess down in the comments. Even if you already commented your carry, I have no problem with you commenting multiple times. That is welcomed, as a matter of fact. I'm going to give this a go here, and I'm going to guess that it is, should we say, right around 3.2? Oh, I thought I was really close too, guys. 3.6 and 102 grams. I mean, 0.4 ain't too bad. But 3.6 and 102 grams. Not too shabby. It's got a little heft to it for its size. Now we'll go ahead and we'll get a check on our handle thickness here on top of our onlays, or inlays, I should say. 0.48. So, it's, you know, for the size, it's got a little thickness to it. And it's got a fairly thin blade stock, though, at 108 thousandths. Let's see what this comes down behind the edge. I'm pretty interested here. We'll just pick a random spot, try to get a good hold, and that's going to come in right about 23 thousandths with that particular hold in that particular spot. But let's see how the Feweed and LMAX cuts out of the box. And I'm going to bet we got a nice screamer here on this knife. Kizer just does a great job. And if you don't know, they even bumped up their HRC on M390 20CV so that the bottom is 60. So that just shows you they're listening, they're paying attention, they care about what they're putting out. And they're equally doing a good job on their LMAX. This thing has a beautiful edge on it. Now, I don't have, like many other steels that I've had from Kizer, LMAX is not one I have a ton of experience with through Kizer. I have a bunch of LMAX. I know what it's capable of. I have the drop bear in LMAX, and it is a phenomenal, it's a phenomenal blade steel, and Kizer does it really well. And I only expect this to be equal or even better than the LMAX on my drop bear, because they just continue to perfect the process even as they innovate, right? So even though this might be LMAX, there's a good chance that they've upgraded, you know, the process, you know, getting a better heat treat on their blades. I have no doubt about that at all. Now, we are perfectly centered up there. The detent on this knife is beautiful, as I said. nice and clicky. We don't have any pivot lash on there. Love the little custom pivot and the little logo there on the blade. That's something that don't bother me whatsoever. You know, and I wish this would continue. If you want to put your company name on the blade, do it on the backside. This is perfect. I don't mind that whatsoever. I'd rather that than it be on the front. That's just me personally. But, you know, a logo on the pivot is the best. Now, as far as our lockup goes, we have like 45% lockup, and it feels like a bank vault there. But let's put that to the test. And you say, how are you going to do that, G-Ball? Well, we have something called the spine whacker here, and we're just going to give this a couple of love taps and make sure that we're not going to have any lock slippage here. Just a couple of light taps to get us going. We have had a few failures lately. And I perform, you know, I might not be as exact with every single swing I do, but I pretty much put the knives through the same testing, unboxing after unboxing. You know, and with locks that I think can take a little bit more, I give them even more. But for the most part, I'm just making sure they're not going to slip off there. And something like that, it might seem maybe on video like it's not much, but that movement right there, that much, might seem like a lot, or it might not seem like much, but that's enough to display a failing lock if it's going to. And a lot of times, I think we can attribute certain failures when it comes to just about any lock. If there's coating on it, this way you guys know, if you don't, if there's coating, overspray from the blade or the lock, the handle, right? If there's overspray where the lock meets up, no matter if it's a frame, a liner, a plunge, a crossbar, where they meet up, if there's coating, these coatings are extra slippery. So that's just going to cause even more issues with the lockup. Now, that's not always the case. I'm not saying that, but if it is failing, that is a huge factor. And you combine that with them putting a little bit of oil in the knife, and as it travels to you, getting in there and on the lock face and on top of that coating, it's going to make it even slipperier. So that's just something to keep in mind. I have found several knives to have that overspray issue. Sand that off, and voila, no failures to behold. We are actually going to be testing that theory again on another knife in a future video. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to check that out. And if you want to see really cool, new, dope EDC and knife content every single day just like this, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I'd love to have you here. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions on the new Kizer Feweed Star Wars series. Make sure you share this video with any of your friends and family, especially the Star Wars freaks out there. I am considered sort of one of those. I'm a big fan of Star Wars, but I'm not a historian per se on Star Wars. Share this video with everyone you know, though. And also, hit the thumbs up button. That helps push the video out there to more people. And let's get the word out on this knife. That way, all the Star Wars fans can get their hands on a Kizer Star Wars knife. Come on. Like I said, make sure you subscribe if you enjoy knife and EDC content. And let me know down in the comments if this is your first time here. I'd love to welcome you properly to the G-Baller community. I'm going to pop up a couple of new videos on your screen. Go check out the one you haven't seen yet. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.